Hi, it's Lynn Oz, and I have some breaking news. Now, this information is pretty shocking, and it is regarding the enemies of Israel and the next step, possibly, for the Ezekiel 38 prophecy. Now, my good friend Bob Kudla with Trade Genius uncovered this morning, and he's on the line with me now. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to discuss the implications for the economy and the spiritual future of not just America, but the world. Bob, thank you so much for joining me. And this is big news that you have uncovered.
It is, Lynn, and thanks for having me on. And I think it's a little bit under the radar at the moment, but uh, today Handelsblatt, which is a German newspaper, was quoted by Reuters of the foreign minister of Germany basically saying that we're going to have to find an alternative world payment system other than the dollar, the US dollar, in order for us to maintain and salvage the Iran nuclear deal. And the implications is clear. The Germans are chafing at trying to participate in the U.S. sanctions of Iran, and we know why we're sanctioning Iran because of the nuclear weapons and the threat they're posing to the U.S. and to Israel. And Germany gets a lot of business from there, and I think they're tired of not being in charge of what they think they should be in charge of. But it's big news in the sense that the dollar is the reserve currency of the world, and if Germany decides to engage in an alternative payment system, now that could even be return of the Deutschmark, or it could be a return of some other world currency, if you will, and then the dollar will lose that reserve status, and that has big implications on the economy. And I'll get to that in a second. But from a spiritual, the first thing I thought of was like, whoa, because when people talk about Ezekiel 38, everybody knows the main players, right? Syria, Iran, Russia, and Israel. And but a lot of people are talking about, well, there's Beth Togarmah, there's Gomer. How do they fit in on this? Who's the kings of the South? And then just in the last 60 days, we've gone into a huge war with Turkey over the pastor who's been abducted and imprisoned, number one, and Turkey getting closer into bed with Russia. And number two is now Germany getting into bed with Iran, getting into bed with Russia with the gas pipeline deal, and getting closer to Turkey because they're going to provide also some lending to Turkey. And I'm sitting there going, wow. So all the players now are in place for a move against Israel. And those weren't in before. I've always thought about that. I'm like, why would Germany be involved in this? Why would Turkey, because Turkey and Syria don't get along, and Germany's in Europe, but a lot of people don't realize there's a huge Turkish minority population, and is a large and growing a Persian population, and also obviously a Muslim population. So I think the pieces are in place. And as you know, Saudi Arabia is the kings of the South. They're in bed with us now, ironically and weirdly. And we're the lands on the coastland, and we're the people yelling from afar saying, hey, what's going on? So I encourage people to take a look at that. It just kind of blew me away when I read it. The other thing is, being a trader and having a trading service, is that I'm always on the lookout for what could cripple the dollar. And if the dollar gets crippled in any way, shape, or form, it has implications on the stock market, number one. And number two, it has implications on the price of gold and silver and the miners. And they've suppressed gold and silver extremely hard this year, Lynn. In fact, the biggest suppression ever in gold and silver, ever. The bankers are pulling out the stops to keep gold and silver from becoming a competitive currency. And that broke this week too. So you got this news, you got this movement now with gold and silver. And I'm waving the flag and telling people, hey, you need to start moving yourself out of the regular stock market. You need to start getting yourself more gold and silver. And also keep your spiritual eyes open because I think things are afoot in Europe and in the Middle East.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of things are happening. Did you hear, in fact, also another thing? I heard that Trump just yesterday was going to be investigating this whole thing that's been going on with social media, with YouTube and Facebook, coming against conservatives and Christians. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, he actually tweeted it out that said that not on his watch will he allow a a bias social media agencies, directing and trying to influence an election.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden there was a. Did you hear about the leak?
No.
There was a leak about George Soros that he's raising $40 million to buy Facebook and YouTube off to censor the
Oh, I
conservatives.
wouldn't doubt it.
And it was on the front page. It was on the front page of Drudge Report
Oh,
today.
wow.
But I mean, a lot of stuff is happening, and I can tell you myself, just in relation to those things, my channel's being hindered big time right now, and my average used to be like 40,000, 40 to 50,000 views. That was an average. On a bad day, maybe 20. And they're hindering my views or making it look like I have less views and just all sorts of stuff. They're really messing with my channel. I don't know if it's their whole fake news thing or what, but it's really getting bad. And I hope to God Trump can do something. And, with this stuff you're talking about here with the economy and the implications it has on our future. I mean, so much is happening, and I just think it's very imperative that people begin to open their eyes to what is taking place and begin to take steps to get prepared for trouble, because trouble is ahead, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, I mean it's coming. They've done everything they possibly can do to paint a picture of normalcy when all around people are looking around and saying, "Hey, nothing looks normal to us." So yeah, and there's nothing you really can do about the social media thing. Look, we're in a spiritual warfare here against secular humanists, and so all we could do is soldier on. God's in charge, and the message is getting out. Now we have greater appreciation for the early Christians and why they had the fish symbol. So we need to have our own resistance symbol.
That's right. That's right. It just we can just see that. I don't know. It just, to me, it tells us how scared the enemy is, that he's trying to suppress the truth the way that he is. And then with the things going on like what you just spoke about, and just putting everything together, the strange weather patterns, the economy, the wars and the rumors of wars, the whole, this whole sexual revolution with homosexuality that's going on, and just, and everything that is bad and evil is now considered good, and everything that is good is considered evil. We can just see how the Bible is unfolding. And there's no doubt in my mind, we're definitely seeing some great things. We're going to see more things, and we're in the end times. And I just think people need to be prepared. Why don't you go ahead and I'll have it on the screen as well. Give the people your website and tell them a little bit more about what you do and how you can help them financially and to be prepared for what's coming.
Yeah, sure. So our company is Trade Genius. Our website is tradelikeagenius.com. And what we do is we provide information, we provide trading signals, we provide training, we provide trading software for all levels, from beginner to advanced, and to help people try to make money in the market nearly every day. And we I've been doing this for a long, long time. I've been trading for nearly 30 years, and we've had a trading service since 2011. And so we run the gamut from cryptocurrencies to gold and silver to the regular stock market. And if you have $200 to invest, or $20,000 or $2 million, there's things that we can do to help you make money in the market. And so we always, for your listeners, Lynn, we always have specials running. And if they go to tradelikeagenius.com for the next couple days, into the weekend. We're running some specials where they can actually join and get the trading signals or get training or get personal coaching, and it's a really good deal. And definitely they'll get their return on the investment they made with us.
Yes, I have had quite a bit of feedback from people over the years that I've had you on my show. Just praise reports, and a lot of people who have become successful at doing this and are happy that they did it. So I've gotten emails from people, like I said, just over the years. We've been doing shows together since I believe it was, I don't know, 2016 or something like that, I think.
Yeah, it's almost 3 years now, Lynn.
Yeah, we did our first show on global cooling. We got to do that again sometime, by the way.
Yeah, because and as an aside, Japan had their earliest snowfall ever today, and also we're going to talk about earthquakes. Venezuela, just 20 minutes ago, you were probably getting show prepped. Here is a 7.3 earthquake in Venezuela, so pray for the people there. And then we have these massive volcanoes in Indonesia ready to pop. So, people ask me what it all means. I said God is mad.
I'd say. I'd say, and people, unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there, Bob, who don't believe in God's judgment. The hyper grace
Oh
people, they
yeah,
don't
for
they don't
sure.
believe that any judgment's coming. The people that think nothing bad can happen to Christians, because that's just abominable to imagine God would allow anything bad to happen to Christians. But then I ask those people, okay, can you explain for me then aborted babies? Innocent aborted babies who suffer. What about people all over the world who suffer every day and die of diseases, natural disasters, they get murdered, just all the things that go on? Has there never been any Christians that have died? What about the disciples? All of them, I believe, but one were persecuted. I mean, things do happen, and people just don't believe in God's judgment. They're under this hyper grace message, and they're just going to be in trouble later because they're not getting ready for anything. And that's the problem. I just want people to be prepared. Even if you're out there and you don't believe God's judgment's coming, be prepared anyways. Just do it. Where can you go wrong?
It's hard for me as a believer to understand people who don't believe. So it's difficult for me to. I can understand why people may have a problem with the church or with people in the church or Christians who don't act like Christians, but God isn't any of those, you just look at the wonders and majesty of the universe, and God exists, and He put a plan out there for us, and you're weighing a 60 to 80 year lifespan against eternity, and to me, and I'm a former Marine Corps officer, and people always ask me to kind of what's the analogy you use? I said when I was going through boot camp, I didn't like it, but I understood coming out the other side, it's preparing me for something. And that's the same with this world today. We're in this world for a purpose. And when we come out through the other side and we meet God's love and live with Him together in fellowship with eternity, none of the things that happen to in this world could ever even hold a candle to the awfulness things that people have suffered in this world. It doesn't compare to the awesomeness, Lynn, of just living with God forever in fellowship. You just can't equate the two. And I think people only look at this world as the only measurement stick, and then they struggle with it. But God's not part of this measurement stick. He's outside of it. So, you know, it's up to people. We can only put the message out there.
That's right. And I think it's time that everybody just really takes a step back and just look around and see all the things that are happening in the world, in the news. Now, am I telling people out there to focus on it and get all negative? No, the opposite. What I'm trying to do is prove to you that I don't believe we have a lot of time left. And I think that we just really need to start getting our hearts right and repent of any unrepentant sin. Start telling as many people as we can about Jesus Christ, and get prepared as the best we can in our own homes physically. And if you're out there and, it doesn't matter what belief you are, if you're pre-trib, mid-trib, post-trib, it doesn't matter. We need to be prepared for whatever could possibly come and be ready. We have loved ones to protect and everything. So I encourage you to go check out Bob at tradegenius.co or tradelikeagenius.com. And you can look and see what he can offer you. And he's got his special that he just mentioned this month. So that information is going to be posted in the video description. Also, Bob is a Christian and he loves things to do with Bible prophecy, as you heard him discussing. So support what he does. We want to support our brothers and sisters in Christ, and just pray for Bob and pray for his business and pray for his family. We all need prayers, don't we, Bob? I do too.
Oh, always. Thank you. I'll take them all.
Amen. Well, thank you so much, Bob. And do you have any final thoughts you want to share with the listeners before we end the show?
No, I just encourage people to start checking it out and kind of follow it along. I don't think this is ending. I think the world is ready to make its next step towards some sort of global system that's outside the reach of the United States, and that just furthers God's plans that much further.
Well, thank you so much, Bob, and God bless you and God bless your family. And I'm looking forward to talking to you again very soon. Hi, it's Lindley Oz. Just a quick thank you to those of you who have been supporting the Lindley Oz ministry and helping to make it possible for me to continue bringing you the truth here on YouTube. Of course, it's getting harder and harder every day. Donations are still down. I have been mentioning in the videos about the need for gifts to this ministry. However, they're still way down, hardly getting anything. If you pray about it and you feel moved or led to give a gift, you can do so via PayPal or check or money order via my P.O. box. And all that information is posted in the video description beneath this video. So thanks again to those of you who have been helping. I genuinely appreciate it. I wouldn't be able to do this without you and your love and your prayers and your support. God bless you, and I hope all of you are having a joyous, beautiful, and blessed day in Jesus Christ.